Now, I've mentioned self-affirmation before, and this is why it's so important. Because as a dialysis patient, and I'm going to be like completely 100 with you guys, my dating life is non-existent. Because the second a woman finds out that you're on dialysis, boom, immediately you have no value. You're worthless. Right? And listen, I totally get it, because as a person, as a man on dialysis, there's a lot of like restrictions that I have on me now, and there's a lot of things that I can't do. And during this, you're going to face a lot of rejection. I've already faced a ton of rejection already, but you can't let that reflect on how you feel about yourself. Look, I get it, man. Like, I'm on dialysis. It's not ideal and it's not fun, but I'm not worthless. And I've heard this expression before, that if somebody can't value you, they don't deserve you. And I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. Because for somebody to think that you have no value and that you're worthless because you're in a wheelchair, because you're on dialysis, because you have epilepsy, or you have some chronic illness that affects your life that you have no control over, and they say that you are worthless because of it, they don't deserve your time. And that's true. They don't. And it doesn't make you a bad person. Is it lonely? Yes. Is it horrible? Yes. It's a different kind of pain to be rejected for something that you can't get rid of. It's like, I have kidney disease, right? For example, I can't get rid of that. There's no cure for kidney disease. It's either I get a new kidney or that's it. There's no cure for it. Just like ALS or any other, disease that falls in that category. Once you have it, you have it. And, realistically, like, it's probably going to be what kills me. And I know that's like super dark, but I'm being real right now. Well, with my experience, honesty is always the best policy. And somebody will do one or two things if you're honest with them. Either they'll appreciate that or they won't. So it's like, well, what do you do? Do you tell the person that, like, hey, I have this thing and, 3 days a week for 4 hours, I have to go do this thing, and I don't always necessarily feel good afterwards, and I can't just travel or just go anywhere at the drop of a hat, or really spend the night anywhere, unless I go through this whole process of coordinating to get to another dialysis center, and then, all the side effects still follow me no matter which dialysis center I go to. So do you tell them or do you not tell them? And then let them find out on their own, and then they feel like you deceived them or you lied to them in some kind of way, Or do you tell them the truth and risk them walking away from you? I don't know. I've heard two strings of thought on that. I've heard one argument of, well, I ain't gonna tell nobody. Okay, then I've heard the other argument of, well, I'll just tell them right up front, so that way, they know. So that way, then you can give them the choice to decide whether or not they want to go down this road with you. And if they do, that's great. Then it's possible that you found somebody who you can sit down and explain this to them, so that way they understand how this works. So I usually find that with in my experience recently, that the idea is, oh, well, he's sick, so he doesn't bring anything to the table. Right? Like, because he doesn't excel monetarily. Like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? And it's not that I'm not I don't work. I haven't worked in like 3 years because of dialysis, because of me constantly getting sick. No employer is going to want to deal with that. Me taking off, at a moment's notice to go to a doctor's appointment, because then they need somebody that's reliable and consistent. And I see it from their perspective too. They need somebody that's healthy, and that's somebody that's going to be on a job that can work those hours they need, so that way that work doesn't fall on somebody else. Right? But it's not to say that I don't have anything coming in and that I don't contribute at all, or that I can't contribute at all. Like, I pay my bills just like any other person does. I use the money that I have to take care of myself. I'm not looking for anybody to take care of me. I'm not looking for any handouts, and I'm not looking to use anybody. I've seen that argument too of, you meet somebody, normie, and they think, oh, well, this guy is disabled, so he's just going to try to shake me down for cash. No, I didn't do that when I was healthy, so I wouldn't do that now. Like, I wouldn't take advantage of somebody like that. But I could see that argument too. I could see that, the other side of that. Admittedly, this whole thing has been difficult to navigate as someone with a chronic illness or disease, and being on dialysis when it comes to like the romance department. Do I get lonely? Yeah, I do. I'm a human being. I get just as lonely and isolated as anybody else does. But what a lot of people don't realize is that this is a very lonely, isolating road that a lot of people are on. And, kudos if you can find your ride or die person who accepts you and, supports you and they understand. But for me, not so much. Not so much. Like, I've been trying, but I haven't really found too much success, as much as people tell me that as much as like people who know me, people who really know me, like the closest people to me, say that I have a lot to offer. Sometimes it doesn't always feel that way. And, confidence ebbs and flows. It's not a constant thing. Kudos to you if you're somebody that just thinks that you're just like great all the time and that you think you're just the baddest all the time. Well, with normal people, your confidence level isn't always at, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's not always at a 10 all the time. Because that's not realistic. That's like saying that, you should just be happy all the time. Like, that's not realistic, and that's not really sustainable. Everybody takes blows to their confidence. And, going through what I'm going through right now was a huge blow to my confidence a lot of times. I try to make sure that it doesn't destroy my confidence entirely, that my confidence doesn't bottom out entirely because of this. But do I take shots here and there? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Do I want that intimacy, to have that support system to add additional happiness to my happiness? Of course I do. It's not my sole purpose for living. It's not like the only thing that I feel like is going to make my life complete. No, like, I have to be a person independently myself. Because if that was the case, then I'd never be able to get out of bed in the morning. But this is just like a glimpse into like my head of, the whole like trying to find a significant other thing. It's not really all that easy. You meet somebody new and then they seem nice, and then you find out that they weren't as cool as you thought they were. And then they don't treat you as you thought that they thought more of you. than they really did. And that can be very discouraging. Like, the whole thing can be very discouraging. You know, human beings, we're social animals. Like, we're social creatures. You know, like, yeah, I enjoy my alone time. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, big groups and big crowds don't really do it for me. I'm more of a one-on-one type of person. But I still crave social interaction. And I still crave, you know, finding somebody special in my life. So, I don't really know. So, until next time.